Welcome to Newrealities. I'm Steinfeld, and this program is about consciousness, the evolution of consciousness, and who we are all becoming as more of us open up to our divine potential. And that is why I have with me today a new friend, YouTube star. Is that okay to call you a YouTube?
It is just fine to say that.
Taren Guy.
Hello.
You can find her at YouTube at Taren916.
Yeah, Taren916 or even / Taren Guy. It'll still lead you there.
But the great thing about you and why you're on the show here is because you started as a beauty channel. And
yes.
I'm glad you brought your hair today.
I brought the
it's
hair.
Natural.
Looking at the monitor right now. Ooh,
but no, but it's so great, and you're such, you're so natural on camera. But you started as a beauty channel, right?
Yes. There was no intention behind starting the channel at all.
At all? You
No.
didn't even want to start because now she has 200,000 followers, viewers,
Something like that, yeah.
like subscribers. Huge. I mean. So you didn't intend to, but what happened?
No, as you can see, Taren916 is really just a username.
Right.
And I just was actually searching on YouTube for styling for naturally curly hair. And I found these women, and they really helped me. So it kind of inspired me to start my own and kind of share my journey, kind of like a journal more so. Not as an expert or guru, but a journal. And so many women just really found it to be very relatable. I have hair just like you, and I don't know what to do, what products to use. So then it kind of segued into like a self-empowerment with acceptance, acceptance of your hair. Because what I realized, especially with women of color, there's so many deeper layers as to why they don't accept their
What
hair.
are those deeper layers? I mean, was it something also you worked through yourself?
Yes, I mean, it's just the kind of the default of needing to alter to look like, well, not look like yourself.
And look like what's acceptable out there.
Yeah, the European beauty of standard of beauty.
But
That's
I
what it
think
is.
you're breaking new ground because you're creating beauty, with...
I hope so.
You
That's all
are,
I want to
'cause
do.
you
I just
are-
want women to just understand that they are beautiful just the way they are. And if they want to play around, they can play around. But it doesn't have to be so deep,
But then were you surprised when the amount of people started to look at...
I was surprised. I didn't even understand how YouTube worked 6 years ago. I was just like, what is this? Oh, subscribers and, they can I had no idea.
And make money, actually.
And that came later. I was just like, okay. So yes, it definitely turned into brands seeing me and wanting to work with me, collabs, partnerships, and which led me to do my own tour.
Your own tour? What was that?
Yeah, I did a tour called Love and Learn Your Hair.
Oh, beautiful.
And it was a mixture of education and inspiration, and I would actually present. And hundreds of people came, 7 cities in the U.S., 3 in Europe.
So you were
3
loved
countries.
all over. The people loved you.
Yes, it was so amazing. I said, you know what? If I'm going to do an event, I did one. It was very successful, and I got so many requests from all over the world to come. So I said, you know what? I'm going to make this happen, sponsorship or not. And there were brands that supported, and luckily, it was a huge success.
Do you think it was successful because you're yourself? You just are naturally...
I think that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wasn't trying to be anything else but myself. And I knew that the messaging, it was all coming from my heart. So whatever came out, and people appreciate it.
This is a mother of 4 right here as well.
Yes, 4.
But then from the beauty, you got into self-empowerment and then eventually talking about your spiritual experiences.
Yes. A lot of that came with the talks of my mom passing away.
Oh, I saw that one.
Yes.
That was very touching.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I shared that. She passed away from cancer in 2005. And I had so many different experiences after her death, which I kind of say those were the moments where I actually woke up.
Yeah.
I was sleeping before she passed. And after and experiencing certain things, there was this new world of newfound spirituality for me.
Yeah, that's what I really want to focus on because that's what this program's about. Those moments of waking up. So let's talk about that moment a little bit. So your mother's sick, she died, and then what was the experience that And then when you say waking up, it's like this whole other reality opens
yeah,
up.
like immediately.
Yeah, so talk about that. So what happened?
Well, okay. Before she passed, the night before she passed, she was in a hospice, and she called me. She had the nurse called me, and I was coming to visit her the next day, and she goes, "I love you. I'm just letting you know that I'm going home."
Wow, she was that aware for.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, I wasn't aware.
But was she a spiritual
No,
person? She
but
wasn't.
clearly when you're kind of ready to go, you kind of understand what's happening.
So when she said that, what did you think?
I was just like, I said, going home? I said, no, I'm coming to see you tomorrow. You're not coming home yet. That's how.
Oh, you said coming home. Oh,
see, I had no idea. And she was just like, no, I'm going home. And then she hung up the phone.
Wow.
And then literally the next day she passed.
Were you there?
No, I wasn't there. She passed like in the wee hours of the morning.
And then what happened then to you?
So of course I broke down. I was expecting it, but really wasn't ready for it because of course she was in a hospice. So which means they're just keeping you comfortable. But I never was really ready for it. I would say things started getting a little weird for me back then. I would say weird because lights started flickering.
Right after she died?
Yeah, like the next day. We were planning for her funeral. Lights were flickering. My alarm clock went off when it wasn't supposed to. And then I was just like, you know what? Okay, whatever. And at one point, I got a call on my cell phone, and it was from a number 111-111-1111.
Wow.
So consecutive ones, and I found that really weird. But I picked up the phone, and I didn't hear anything, but I felt my mom.
You did.
As soon as I picked up the phone, I felt her. And again, I wasn't aware to even look for that. I just felt normal, like she was there. So I immediately hung up, and ever since that day, I would see 1111 or 111 everywhere. It still happens to this day. That's why I have it tattooed.
Oh, you have it tattooed.
Yes.
If you don't see it on your clock, you can always look at your wrist.
Exactly. And I kind of started researching like the powers of numbers and the frequencies and what certain consecutive numbers mean. And I was very interested. It was intriguing. So it kind of led me into that rabbit hole of, just kind of doing my research in that
Well,
area.
because when people talk about waking up, they're realizing there's this other levels of reality that exist all around us, but we are so programmed not to see it.
Oh yeah. And what really kind of pushed me into that world, I remember one night I was sleeping with all of the lights on at that point because I was still living with my mom, and it was just scary.
To turn
I
off
was
the
so
light?
scared.
You were scared about?
I was scared. I had my boys with me. They were like 3 and 4 years old. And I slept in the living room, and I had the TV on. At one night, the TV went to snow. And I just felt like someone just grabbed me. And when I opened my eyes, I couldn't move. It wasn't necessarily sleep paralysis, but I heard like a voice, but it was very high-pitched. And I heard, "I love you," really quick, like a chipmunk. And then it disappeared, and it let me go. And I ran out of my house. I left the boys upstairs. I ran out, and I just broke down and started crying in the street. So I said, I don't know what's happening.
Did you think it was your mother who said, "I love you"?
I knew it was my mom, but again, it was scary. So with that, I spent the night over at my friend's house. The boys went to their grandmother's house. I needed a little break.
Right.
And my friend and I, we actually slept in the same bed together. And I had a dream, a visit.
Right.
That visit changed my whole
What was
reality.
that visit?
Well, my mom came to me in the dream, and she spent some time with me. And she was telling me, she was walking with me, and she was telling me there's absolutely nothing to be afraid of. She kind of apologized for scaring me. And she wanted me to understand how she was feeling in this dimension she was living in. So what she did was she took some of wherever she was and whatever she was, and she gave it to me really quick. I channeled it, and it was this beauty. It's almost like how they explain like near-death experiences. it was like colors I've never seen before, feelings I've never felt, and it was no fear. I couldn't even be afraid if I wanted to. Everything was just so beautiful. Then she took it back.
Oh, she took it back.
She took it back from me, and she said, that is where I am. So there's nothing to be afraid of, and I'm fine. And then she disappeared. Wow. So when I woke up crying, but they were happy tears because she literally healed me because I couldn't feel the fear anymore. I was ready to go home and sleep in my own bed.
It was
like I was, right.
But you were going home because you were comfortable.
Yeah, she took that fear away by doing whatever she did. And then my friend woke up and she said, I just had a dream about your mom. So we're both dreaming about my mom at the same time. And she was just like, your mom told me to make sure I look out for you and take care of you.
So that changed everything.
Oh, yeah, because it was real.
And that actually put you on the path to then discovering more of these.
Yes, I started reading the books. I started listening to the CDs. I started going crazy trying to understand this other world, which kind of led me back into just my self-development here,
right.
you know.
Yeah.
And it's been amazing ever since then.
Did it change you, like, physiologically? Do you feel like more energy or something?
I have my ups and downs. That's something that I feel that I am still working on how to always keep my energy high. Because, you know, we always, even though we know better, sometimes we still decide to.
Right, that's part of our journey.
You know, that's part of the journey. But I try to be aware.
But what also happened to you is that you when you had that love experience, you started to have lucid dreams. I saw you talk about that.
Yeah,
and, talk about a lucid dream that you have, and the reality that these dreams, for me, they're real. They're just other states of consciousness. They're not just dreams made up by our psychology.
Right, I believe that as well. I believe, I don't know if you've seen that movie, and what was it, Inception?
Yeah, I loved Inception.
Yeah, where he was literally going in and out of dreams and he didn't know when he was really awake. Yeah. I feel like this is life in a sense. We're just in a different dream world, and based on frequency and vibration, some may feel denser than others. Some in dimensions you can just fly because the energy is different, you know? So I don't know. It happened by accident one time where I was dreaming and I woke up in the dream and I said, hey, I'm dreaming. And then I said,
isn't that great?
Yeah, and then I said, let me play around and see what I can do now that I know that I'm dreaming. And I just went crazy in my dream and I just wanted to go wherever I went, and it was fun. It was fun to be aware in like this world of illusion that you can play with. And when I woke up, I said, whoa. I said, that was cool. And I started looking up lucid dreams and same experiences. And
amazing that people all over have these same experiences.
Yeah. And then I found out you can do it on purpose.
Yes, you can intend it. And then with a lucid dream, they say you can actually go out of your body, astral project.
I've had those experiences as well. Yeah.
Have you visited other people when you've astral projected?
No. Actually, yes, I visited a friend of mine, and I saw someone. It was a confirmation, I guess, because it was so random, and I saw my friend with a woman with red hair. She had fiery red hair. And then I spoke to my friend, and I said, I don't know what just happened, but I had this dream about you last night, and you were like with this girl who had this crazy red hair. And then he goes, oh my God, her name is Red because of her red hair. And she was there. And
you saw that?
Yes.
Wow. So do you think as you develop spiritually, I mean, this is more your life, and that you want to teach that in a way, that development?
I just want to continue to experience, continue to learn, and continue to share. I don't know if that's considered teaching, but...
Well, I think sharing is teaching.
Yeah.
But, you know, you said something interesting. When your mother gave you that feeling of that pure love, I guess, do you think we can have that here? I think we can in this life.
So?
I do. I think our destiny is to work towards that feeling, and you don't have to go to the other side to have that. I think our job now is to bring that feeling into the body embodiment.
It's funny you mention that because a lot of talk in the spiritual and conscious world is that we are shifting dimensions.
Yes.
Like the earth, the planet is actually shifting and we have no choice but to move with it, which is scary for some and it's exciting for some. So I agree with you that in our lifetime we are experiencing that shift.
Yeah, I mean, can you access that? Like if you think of your mother, I'm just curious, can you just access that feeling? Because now your mother is that in a sense.
Yeah, can I access
Can you
that
do it right
feeling now?
If you want.
You know what? In the normal state, probably not yet. But when I intentionally like meditate or have that alone time and set up for that, it's like I have to set up for it more so than it being a natural thing. I just have to constantly be conscious in order to experience that. I have to be in the moment and something I'm always practicing.
Do you think the personality is in the way, our habits, our ways of thinking, I think they're in the way of that. I think we are that. That is who we are. But we have all these layers on top.
Yeah, I was watching something and they said something very interesting. Sometimes we identify ourselves with our thoughts. We think that we are our thoughts. And the question really is, no, who is the person who's observing the thoughts?
Yes.
That's who you are.
Yes, Deepak Chopra always says that on the show.
Exactly.
Have you seen?
No, I haven't seen that.
Oh, you should see.
No.
Who is the observer of your thoughts?
There we go.
Every time he said.
It's such a key thing, and you forget. You're like, wait a minute. I am observing something outside of myself, but I'm thinking that whatever's outside is me, so...
That's Eckhart Tolle's The Power of Now. All these great teachers always come back to that we are the observer. It's like watching a television. You're not the television because you're observing it. You're not listening to everything the television is saying.
Right.
And so we're not the thoughts or the personality, but we're the God part, I feel, that can observe all of that.
Yeah.
And then we forget.
Right.
But I think this time, like you're saying, is the integration where we're moving, some people say, the fifth dimension.
Fifth, yeah.
I saw you wrote something about that.
I did. The post is on my phone.
No, but you don't have to read it, but I know what you said was about living in that accelerated space. Talk about what you meant.
Because I feel like, and I observe this from friends of mine and observing others, some people are just... Things are manifesting very quickly for me and people that I know who are just like, whoa, this is like awesome. And they're experiencing a better discernment, picking up energy better, really just understanding time. You can slow it down or speed it up if you want because it doesn't exist. Like things like that. And then I'm seeing... other people struggle in this shift because they're holding on to the old third dimensional way. And third dimensional to me is more of a lesson-based area. And once you're kind of evolved out of that, it's more of the experiencing based beyond that. So people are still stuck in trying to hold on to these thoughts and ways of living and experiencing when they're supposed to be kind of moving on and naturally, and they're holding on so tight that it's painful for them.
Do you see the people that are suffering are definitely the ones holding on to? What are they holding on to?
Old ways, old things that no longer serve you, thoughts that no longer serve you, people, experiences, situations that no longer serve you.
You see, that's where I feel you can be a teacher and help people because you're living in a new space. You're living in a space where you're
I'm letting go what no longer serves me. And a lot of that did happen with like the harassment that I was dealing with. It was a dark period for me. It was my cocoon, I like
Someone
to say.
from YouTube was harassing you, saying bad.
But it really affected me because I let it.
You let it because you felt it it hurts when people think
but I took it personally, which is something, why?
So how did you get over that?
Going back to my roots of being conscious and understanding that world has nothing to do with me.
And they weren't really talking about you anyway. They were talking about some projection.
of themselves.
Yeah, of themselves.
Yes,
exactly.
and once I realized that, I was free, and it feels good.
How long did it take you to work through that? I mean, a while.
Like a year.
A year.
A year. A year of just really fighting with myself and understanding that I can kind of leave this here and let it
Right. And it doesn't have to
squander.
affect who you
And
are.
I don't have to, I choose not to live in that world.
But that was a huge growth spurt.
Oh,
because-
yeah, it's been a huge growth spurt. I feel so much freer understanding that.
So what's next for you? What do you want to do? What's your vision for your channel and your life and your spiritual development?
Well, I just want to I want to inspire other people to find out who they truly are, reveal themselves to themselves and not be afraid of what that is, and living in that and owning it. Because once you take ownership of who you are, sky's the limit, limits the sky. There is no limit. You know, you're free.
Right.
So I feel like, you know, I have these conversations, and there are people who are saying, well, what does that have to do with like changing the world? You know, what the world is going crazy right now, and why should we be worried about finding peace and saving the whole world? And I feel like you can save the world one person at a time. I truly believe that.
Yeah.
So us understanding who we individually are gets us closer to understanding that we are one in the first place.
No, I think that's really important because
Yeah.
it does come back to our own truth, our own personal development, and that puts out a vibratory field
Yeah, it does.
that affects the rest of the world around us. But you had a profound experience with your mother, and that was what was shifting. Can people somehow get that without an experience, or you think they need an experience to have this awakening?
I just feel like it always helps to hear other people's testimonies so that you know what to look out for yourself.
So you're like planting a seed.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel like I'm doing that, and I want to continue to do that through my new content coming out for next year. Everything that I do, it's all the same mission, to get people to confront themselves, be honest, and accept it.
How do people not confront themselves? In what situations do you see that?
By number one, caring what other people think all the time. So they're not living in their own truth, or they don't know what that is because they're not even near exploring it yet. So let's say you're the 20-year-old who graduated college, and you're like, your mom and your dad has been pressuring you to do one thing. You don't want to do it, but you're going to do it. You're unhappy. Relationships, you don't want to be with this guy, but you got to be married. So all of these like external circumstances are placed on us, and we take it and we hold it, and it's something that we don't even want. So why? Life is too short.
But what about people who don't feel good about themselves? I mean, who don't feel like they're beautiful enough? I'm sure you work on that. Because
Yes.
there are women who are beautiful according to a standard. I mean, I think everyone's beautiful. But if they really don't feel good about themselves, what can women or men do?
I feel like it's asking yourself the right questions when you are alone and looking at yourself in the mirror. Whatever those questions are,
Like what?
I'm actually trying to figure out what those questions are so that I can kind of give it as assignments. But just asking yourself, even if something as simple as who am I? And really feel, and because I feel like when we look in the mirror, especially as women, we don't see ourselves. We see women on Instagram and Facebook and TV and what we possibly may want to look like if we do our hair this way, but we're not looking at ourselves.
You're projecting onto
Yeah.
your own face.
So if I can draw a picture of that, it would be crazy. Like there would be no reflection in the mirror. So it's really looking in the mirror into your own eyes and asking yourself, who am I? What do I want? And just feeling that and owning it. Some people may cry. It may be a total purge, but it's needed. We're not being honest with ourselves.
But was there a moment for you where you looked at yourself and maybe you didn't think you were beautiful, and then there was a moment?
Oh, it led me to cut all my hair off.
Really? And then what was that moment where you said, wow, maybe I am beautiful. Maybe this is beauty.
After I challenged myself.
In what way?
Because I was so dependent on my hair and needing to straighten it or needing it to be perfect and no frizz. And I was tired of that feeling. And I just said, you know what, I'm just going to cut it all off and see what happens.
You shaved your head.
Yeah, well, it was like 2 inches.
And then what?
And then I was like, whoa, I'm exposed. And I didn't really feel comfortable with it at first, but I was forced to feel comfortable. I had no choice.
And in that moment, did you find your own beauty?
I did. Very soon after.
What was that revelation of the beauty you saw in yourself? Was it?
I started really, again, just really seeing myself in the mirror and didn't necessarily look for outside validation to tell me that I was beautiful. I didn't need to wait for that.
Because, I think when we do see ourselves as beautiful, something actually changes. We actually look different to others, too. There's that inner radiance that comes out.
Yes, like I know there are some women who have textured hair and they're so afraid to show their husbands, or, there's just like this fear. And sometimes when they finally let it out, their husband or their boss or somebody who they were so worried about, they actually say, oh, I like that.
Yeah.
So then they're like, oh, this whole time I was holding on to this thought that you wouldn't. So most of the time it is us.
Yeah.
Holding ourselves back.
And I think that's what brings us into what we call fifth dimension, is this acceptance of ourselves, this love of ourselves, but without getting obsessive. There are some women who are constantly looking at themselves, making sure they're that thing, and that's sort of the other end of that falling in love with your own image thing. That's like that side. So somewhere in the middle.
Somewhere in the middle. Absolutely.
So, but that's great, because I think you will be a teacher for a lot of women.
Thank you.
And And as far as your spiritual work, where do you see that evolution? What would you like? Would you like to, be clairvoyant? Would you like to do all those things?
Well, I am an empath. I know that I'm definitely empathetic.
Right. How would people develop that if they wanted to?
I'm not sure how to develop that. I just know that I've personally always felt this way and didn't understand what was happening. I'm not saying that certain people have certain things. I'm sure we can all tap into our empathetic side, our clairvoyant side. But it was something that I didn't necessarily develop. So,
maybe that's part of it, though. So, is that we actually all have these things, but it's like coming in touch with ourselves, that love that we start, and getting away from the things that are imposed on us. We start to feel what we've always known, this empathy.
Yeah, and when I talk about what happened with my mom and experiences that I've had, I hear some people say, oh, I wish I can have that experience, or, I wish I can talk to my mom, who's passed away, but I tell them that they can. All they have to do is literally just open your mouth. Just start by actually talking and believing.
And start to feel what, Western society says might be voices in our head, but there are also realities that we can become awakened to.
Yeah.
Wow.
We're not special.
No, everyone. We're just human.
We're us. That's it.
Thank you so much for being on this show
and
sharing your life and your Taren 916. Right?
Taren Guy.
Taren Guy. Taren 916 is her YouTube channel. So Taren Guy.
Yes, Taren Guy.
Anything you want to say before we close?
Just understand that it's a journey. It is a journey. There is no destination. Life is a journey. So when we get to where we think we want to be, there's more. So just let it flow, experience it, and enjoy the ride. Enjoy the ride.
Great. I've enjoyed this.
Thank
ride.
you. Me too.
This is Alan Steinfeld for Newrealities. If you want to reach me, go to my youtube.com/newrealities or my website, newrealities.com. Thanks for watching. You're so alive, so bubbly.